Okay, Tom.
All right, let's go.
Let's just start this now and here. Welcome to my van. Welcome to the show. We're just gonna ramble about things. Do you want to start at the beginning or the end, or like the start of your life or the end of your life?
We're talking about my life, are we?
Some of it.
Okay.
I
I
wanted
guess
to
there is a biographical feature to Wonderism and how it relates to me.
But I did want to ask you some questions, but I wanted to ask you questions in the direction. Chronological
Let's do it.
or reverse chronological?
Whatever you want.
That's my first question.
Okay. Let's start at the beginning, I guess. I mean, it's sort of hampered by memory, but...
Yeah, no, we're not. Okay, let's get out of here.
Okay. But no, I do have a line about like my life and how it relates to Wonderism.
I don't care about your life, Tom. Get out of
You
here.
just asked me about my life. You're fucked, mate.
Okay. What was your first act of disobedience, you think?
Whoa. I mean, I think everyone has like small acts when you're a child, not wanting to do a certain thing, reacting poorly to some authority from a parent or
Too abstract?
teacher. I don't remember instances.
Sit right here.
Okay,
the flowers.
I like the daisies.
We're gonna get attacked by bees, but we'll kill them.
No. First specific act. There is one right there, actually.
Did you just stomp at it?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's quite lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. How's my hair? How's
Beautiful.
my shirt? Okay.
I think I remember stealing someone's Pokemon cards. I don't know if that counts or not.
That's thievery. That's disobedient towards the law.
Yeah, to morality, but like, yeah, I mean, kids do lots of things like that, like being told you can't go out and going out anyway. Meeting with friends.
I always had to skateboard in places that skateboards weren't allowed. That's just a common theme of every skateboarder everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is like, you jump fences and you say like, I'm going to skate here.
I was quite
and
like,
if I get kicked out, that's the rules of the game.
On that note, I was like largely quite just a goody two shoes as a kid. I did. I followed the rules.
Did you do your homework? How was school?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a good student by any stretch of the imagination because I was just like really lazy, and I didn't have like the conceptual framework to know why I hated school, but I did hate school. Like being forced to learn shit I didn't want to learn.
There's a thread there. Like
I didn't have TCS, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
But
do you think your parents gave you, like, did they just kind of offload the authority onto school, or did they also try and like enforce the school's rules?
my parents weren't super authoritative, like in relation. They, like all parents, they want you to do well at school. I think they see the value in it, the utility in it. So they're like, are your grades good? And I was like, luckily, I think I have some natural ability, so I was never like failing things.
Yeah.
So I just sort of like flew under the radar.
Yeah.
Not the best, not the worst. Hello.
Woof. I miss my dog.
No.
You met Cash, right?
I pet that dog. No, I didn't.
You never did?
No.
Oh, you came right after?
Maybe.
Wait, no. You must.
Don't remember meeting your dog.
Okay. Because you stayed at my place. When was the last Ratfest?
Well, I met you at the 2021 one, but there was no dog. And
When did you stay at my place last?
That was last year. That was September last year.
September last year. Was she gone already? Anyway, bummer. Either way, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Life
Life.
and how you lived it.
Disobedience.
Yeah, I've just been on this kick of like thinking of this theme of disobedience,
Yep.
the Deutschian idea, or like from the, I like Carlos, who's been saying Deutschverse.
Okay. Nice.
Like it's a fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah, fuck yeah. The crossover event of the...
Yeah.
But no, I think an interesting way to frame it is like, I imagine myself if I went back to school now with like the knowledge I have now about authority and epistemology and things, and it just wouldn't fly at all. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's an element of like I'm more experienced being
It's
an adult.
crazy too. Just in the era of like everyone cheating with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And like they're trying to bring back different forms of tests again, and like
Yeah.
handwritten tests and like in person, and it's such a man. The institutions are struggling. I was thinking about this on the bridge today. Like, there's a point where you could see the edges of civilization fraying, and you can make that argument that like Western civilization is kind of being stress tested by authoritarianism, or is it just this internet age where we could see it? Like before, you just couldn't really look so close at the edges, where all the institutions fail at some point, or like because the institutions are error correction mechanisms that like uphold traditions to a large extent of and then they have this large component of inexplicit knowledge.
Yeah, so I do think it is a
Yeah.
selection effect. It's like you read Steven Pinker's The Better Angel of Our Nature. He talks about how we have like the least war of any time of all time, right? But then you look at the news and it's all war all the time,
Yeah.
because the news is based on novelty. It's not based on, morality. It's like what is different today, what's interesting.
Yeah.
So, and often it's actually what's bad, because sex sells and so does tragedy. So it's the dramatic fallacy. I don't know if you want to get into that, but
No, it's pretty trite. Whatever bleeds leads.
right,
yada,
exactly.
yada, yada.
And this is true also for the authority thing. I think we actually have the least amount of authority that we've ever had.
Yeah, it's insane how, like, I've lived my life as a latchkey kid. Like, I had a single mom who was just like, come home to sleep,
Right.
at least.
Yeah, just don't die.
Just like I stole my mom's car at 15 and drove to Vegas, and she never knew about it.
Yeah, nice.
Like I got away with some stuff.
Yeah, so tell me about disobedience. It sounds like you did more than me.
No, this thing I'm writing, like, I feel like it's a big topic and it deserves a lot, is disobedience and this idea of free thought. And like I wanted to do, like I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna start with the Bible in Genesis and the Eve eating from the tree of knowledge.
Yeah, nice.
But also I want to rewatch all of The Simpsons and just study Bart Simpson as he goes woke,
Has he gone woke?
Dude, if you've watched Simpsons now, it's like, oh god,
Really?
It's very telling. Like he still has some like biting kind of like cultural critique stuff to him,
Yeah.
and just like, but he's more of a contrarian for contrarianism
Okay.
than actually making cutting jokes like someone like South Park, which is like way more in tune with the kids,
Right.
which is like where they get their outlet for their teenage angst,
Right.
and how they rebel. And but that's
I do love this idea
Or
of a very
another time.
niche obsession, like doing a close reading of The Simpsons specifically on Bart Simpson. Like,
Bart Simpson's anti-authoritarianism.
yeah, and also it's like it's independent of like the perceived like highbrow, lowbrowness of it. Like if you were to tell someone like I want to do deep reading of like John Keats or William Shakespeare, they'd be like, yeah, cool, great, go for it. But if you're like The Simpsons or South Park or whatever,
Yeah, it's very like, it feels too Portland, like Portland social science to me, to like really.
I don't think so. I think it's valid.
That's just like, if someone told me that, I was like, and they were going to like Berkeley or one of these like crunchier granola schools,
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, no, that sounds cool, go for it.
To be fair though, I think Simpsons is maybe a poor example because it's actually quite a well-regarded show. It has actually like depth and satire and all these things.
Like I defend it for sure, but it's also like it wouldn't, there's traditions where I would also see them taking it seriously, and but anyways, back to school, your parents. I love this idea of studying people as what's the Deutschian thing of the Deutschian line? Like, people are most characterized by their problems.
Mm-hmm.
So what was like the first? What was your first other than language and like the stuff everyone in Western,
Yeah.
like other than the uncontroversial stuff in Western civilization growing up, what was like the first existential or like even technical problem that you're like, what the fuck is going on, and no one could tell me about it?
It's so interesting, this on a meta point, like trying to remember my life before, like learning about these ideas, Deutsche Popper, etc.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm watching a different person, and it feels like, you know, the meme of like a 4-year-old like becomes conscious at a certain time.
Yeah.
I feel like I came conscious, how old would I have been? 20 years old. And the life before that is sort of a misty haze to me. But I do have an answer.
It's crazy.
I guess
I
my
feel the
first
same
like
way.
leaning into intellectualism was, as so many people my age, our age potentially, it's like when I was 15, new atheism.
Yeah.
That was like peak angry 15-year-old. Like,
Of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Of the new enlightenment.
yeah.
Who was your guy?
So originally my guy was Christopher
Hold on.
Hitchens.
Oh, I was gonna. Yeah. That's.
I feel like most
Yeah.
people start with him because he's the sexiest.
No,
you know?
I went Harris because he
Okay.
was crunchier granola. I was into meditation.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh no, we're not gonna be," and Dawkins. Actually, no, Dawkins was. I can't actually remember now that I think.
I mean,
it was Dawkins first.
I've orbited all of them for a long time.
Yeah. But at 15,
They're not down there
Hitchens.
yet, actually.
The angst, the anger, the.
Just the suave and the you know.
People
sex.
forget his suave. I don't think.
He's so charming.
I never thought of it as like a handsome man, but like he.
He's not, but he's hot.
He reminds me of like a Rush Limbaugh.
A what?
Like Rush Limbaugh?
I don't know who that
He's
is.
an American radio host.
Okay.
He's like old. He's like Alex Jones's grandfather.
But a very English version.
Yeah.
But have you seen the round table with him and a bunch of feminists? And he's like charming them all.
No.
Yeah.
I know he was a guy who really let those buttons hang low.
Hell
you know?
yeah. Nah, he fucks, I'm sure. I'm certain. And then
He sure drank a lot of whiskey.
that's true. And then I think it was through Hitchens that I got to Harris. And he was like my, you know, sort of intellectual god for a long time, as he is for many people.
Yeah. No, there's 2 generations of crit rats now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was there's the original, the OGs. There's 3 stratas.
Yeah.
With the guys who actually like read nonfiction back in the day, like Brett Hall.
Yep.
And picked up Fabric of Reality or Beginning of Infinity, and we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This guy's on a different level. And then there was another generation, the people who listened to Sam Harris's podcast.
Yep.
And then
That was me.
got hardcore Deutsch pilled, and then we're like, dude, Sam Harris is fucking cooked. And then there's the 3rd generation of the Naval internet Twitter age, or X age cohort, that's pretty much the 3 now.
Definitely. It's fun to see, you know, the differences and like the new interaction, because the Naval thing is still emerging.
Yeah, it's still, the wave is yet to crest.
Yep. I would say so.
Yeah.
It's weird to feel like not the oldest guard, but the mid guard, you know?
Yeah. Funny. I hope to get to sit in a field with Brett one day and get his perspective
Oh,
too.
yeah, definitely. Brett's a cool guy.
Have you met him yet?
Yeah, I met him in Sydney.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah.
We
Mines.
saw,
Yeah.
Who's the capitalism guy from Israel? I'm blanking.
Yaron Brook?
Yaron Brook. We saw him speak.
Oh cool.
But he was speaking with Brett.
Oh shit.
And they have some interesting, like, you know, epistemological
Tiffs.
differences.
Yeah.
With
And economic, just tiffs of like, because Brett's even more hardline on the anarcho-capitalist stuff, I think.
well, he's anti. He's a minarchist, so Brett isn't an anarchist.
Really?
Yeah. So he aligns more with Yaron than that.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, in like the Malay sense of just like
Just like, the Watchmen state sort of thing, the arguments of like all anarchy will reduce to chaos. My position is simply like it's a principle thing. Like if we take Popper's epistemology seriously, anti-authority in thought seriously, then we should apply that to all things. And everything good about tradition and institution can be embodied non-coercively in culture.
Yeah, like that's I think we're always limited by the least knowledgeable set of people in our civilization to a large degree. And if that set of people can be enriched with knowledge to such a high degree, like there's no reason why, like we could, it's like in a code base, you could delete so much code just that goes towards managing that set of people who just think it's okay to steal or to rob and all.
David Friedman has some interesting, and I did raise this to you on Brooke actually. It's quite funny. I was like, what do you think about David Friedman's theory of
machinery of
privatized?
freedom.
Yeah, it's in that book. Privatized police forces that would serve customer base, so they work via profit motive, but they're And then the question is they'll just be skirmishes between rival police forces, but they're adjudicated because the logic is that war is expensive, so these firms don't want to go to war with their competitors.
Yeah.
So they'd adjudicate it with some third party agreed upon thing who would you're right, they can arrest your client, sort of thing.
Interesting.
And
that's pretty off. That's like a tangent on a tangent on a tangent. I want to kind of get back to you.
Okay. Hello.
Instead of abstract sci-fi fucking...
I mean, that is quite me though, so...
Yeah, it is, but it's not... I think the original thread was talking about people are most characterized by their problems, what your earliest problems were, and then we kind of got...
Yeah, but me today, I'm not characterized by anything from my childhood.
I know, but the trajectory that got you here is a chain of events.
Yeah, okay, so Sam Harris is probably the first chink in that, I say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Breaking the shackles, the mind-forged manacles, if we're going.
Interesting. I asked you to bring a few pieces of any media, really.
Yeah.
Is there any nice segue from that point of your life, or could we go chronologically into one of those?
Yes, we can, but I think I should introduce Wonderism, and there is a biographical aspect of it. So I think a lot of the malaise of my childhood was not knowing between, do I want to do the STEMmy side of stuff? Do I want to be a physicist? I did want to be a physicist, but there's an annoying tension. I think every young person has felt this, where you watch Carl Sagan or you watch a Stephen Hawking documentary or something, and you learn about black holes or quasars or these things. And then you're sitting in a maths class and it's I don't know, derivatives and there seems like a world apart, and you need the latter one to do the former one. So in order to gauge the wonder, you have to gauge the boredom, and I didn't surmount that. I didn't manage to solve the problem of finding mathematics interesting. I think it's probably largely because of school.
It's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, but you didn't want to take that spoonful.
No, but it's not sugar, it's sand.
No, the medicine is
Okay, the medicine
you're being fed this medicine and you're trying to dilute it with some sugar, but the sugar was nowhere.
Yeah, but actually what it was, if we're running with that metaphor, is someone had a spoonful of sugar and they were saying you have to have the medicine, the horrible medicine, before you can have the sugar. And I was like, no, I don't want the fucking medicine.
I'm not sick. I don't need it.
I'm just hungry. So yeah, I mean, and also I liked poetry. I liked writing. I was good at English, but school demands that you specialize. So at a certain age in high school, I went straight into STEMmy stuff. I did physics, biology, chemistry, that sort of stuff, and then did geology at university. And was just sort of coasting on that.
Yeah.
And then the Wonderism thing is retrospectively, I think I've been writing it basically my entire life, but more intellectually, for the past maybe 5-10 years. just trying to unify these two disparate sides of the wonder and the rigor and the wonder, you know.
Yeah.
So that's my whole
The
spiel at
hard
the
with
moment.
the soft.
Yeah. I mean, I have a whole list of these dichotomies. I'll read them out to you, if I can find it. 2 seconds. I didn't prepare for this.
Yeah, I feel like it's... Yeah, the rigor is not a well-used, or not a super common word. I think it's like sterile.
But that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to unsterile everything. We're trying to get everything, you know.
It's interesting because you have people like Brett Weinstein, and people are trying to like make like the new age biologists are kind of the people on the cutting edge of trying to find, like they're way more organic, no pun intended, than like the cosmologists, than like the technical AI people. Yeah.
There's a nice line in Oppenheimer, the film that came out last year, where it's like mathematics is like sheet music. It doesn't matter if you can read sheet music, it matters if you can hear it. Can you hear the music? And then it goes into actually quite a wonderous montage of like do 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 do.
Dude, I have to see that movie.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay.
I hear the reason, one of the, other than, I don't know, Chris Nolan for me has like this annoying thing where he just like doesn't care about plot as much as like.
That's a bold statement.
He does.
His film, if anything, are like plot heavy. They're like, that's his whole shtick is like he has a difficult.
No, he loves cinema.
Contrived.
He loves just like shots. He's like, how do I get from this shot? He's not like.
You can call it visually propelled plotting for sure, but I don't think like maybe he doesn't have enough dialogue in it.
Yeah, that's what I kind of mean.
You see, Denis Villeneuve recently, the director of Dune and Sicario and these films, he's like, dialogue is for theatre. I don't think dialogue should be in cinema, so I don't think. He's got the new Bond film as well.
Dude, I'm so curious who he's going to cast in that.
I want Robert Pattinson, that would be sick.
He can't be Batman and Bond.
Yes, he can.
You can't have it all.
Anyway,
and he's dating Suki Waterhouse. He's just like...
He can win in every
it's annoying.
All right, what was I doing? So I was going to read you some things that like sort of embody...
Please.
It's not only this connection between thought and feeling.
This thing. But it's not
Earthquake.
I just
Do you want me to hold it for a bit?
No. I just bent my thing.
It's going to make for good viewing, isn't it?
Are you not entertained? Okay.
All right.
Read me a thing.
Yeah, so just a bit of preamble. So like another, sort of facet of wonderism is necessarily like the two wonders. So there's the wonder why, which is curiosity, and there's the wonder wow, which is astonishment. It relates to sublimity and grandeur. And I say there's a causal link between the two because we can only achieve grandeur and powerful transformations, this links to Deutsch, through the rational engine of curiosity.
Yeah.
So that being said, it's a corollary of that argument, difficult word to say, corollary, that things created by man, in principle, can be more sublime, grand, wonderful than things created by nature. So a lot of the things that I think are like wondrous, I do like natural wonders, but a lot of the theme of these writings will be like human-centered grandeur. And the first one is a great example of that because it's a poem by William Wordsworth, who's like the most famous naturalist poet probably. He basically invented talking about nature through poetry. But in my opinion, his best sonnet, maybe his best poem, is composed upon Westminster Bridge, September 3rd, 1802. And it's when he was on his way to France with his sister, and it's like early morning, dawn, and he's standing on Westminster Bridge looking over London in 1802. And William Wordsworth, the nature bro, writes this poem about London. Quote, "Earth has not anything to show more fair, Dull would he be of soul, who could pass by a sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning, silent, bare. Ships, towers, domes, theatres, and temples lie open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendour valley, rock, or hill. Never saw I, never felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Close quote. So that's him talking about London being the most beautiful thing he's ever seen.
That's pretty cool.
And I think it goes wicked hard. And I love the humanist aspect of like all that mighty heart, which relates to like civilization.
Yeah.
We are the mighty heart.
I have that same sentiment when I drive through a mountain road.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, when they're hiking, like I hang out with a lot of hikers and climbers, and they're usually on the left, which is kind of anti-Western, to a lot of, or anti-enlightenment. I don't know, but they have beef with roads, and I always think, no, like you just have to like go back a layer and see the lives that road supported. All the labor crews, the machinery, the people who machined those parts that built the machinery, that whole connected supply chain that allowed that civilization to exist to a large extent.
Yep.
Allow that road to exist to a large extent.
And there's the point of like, you wouldn't be seeing these mountain vistas if the road wasn't there.
Like there's when you drove to Yosemite, where we hung out a couple days ago, like you see Olmsted, there's Olmsted Point, like he was an artist of like civil engineering to like, we could go straighter, but you'd miss this awesome view.
Yeah.
Like there's a underappreciated fact there.
And that's good, because that's a nice middle road. Because you could say like, you know, the cold hard economic view would be like, always build the straightest road.
Yeah.
And you
tunnel
have this,
bore, make it straight.
You have this in like, you know, in logic and argument and efficiency and physics, and that feels right.
Yeah.
But like, I think the wondrous answer is like, build the road that gets you to the place quickly, but also, you know, maximizes the beauty. But also you could argue that like the road isn't there to...
There's competing criticisms, which are really nice to just intellectually pick apart, because there is a right answer on the economic side, but it has to also satisfy the other mode of criticism of like, well, how do we, you know, there's going to be commuters on this road, and why not make it a bridge and not a tunnel?
Yes.
Like, no one's going to build a bridge just because the views are nicer. Like, you're not building the gold, but there's a balance in between them of
this
like...
is a good point, though.
This satisfies all the requirements, and the aesthetics are a requirement.
Yes, this is a good point. So even from like, you know, the quote-unquote like musty, cold economic perspective, economics is based on people and what people want, right?
Yeah.
And people want beauty in their lives. Beauty sells. So you could argue that building the meandering road instead of the straight road is actually like, that's the economically correct choice to make. That's a good financial investment.
Yeah.
Because more people are going to want to drive it because it's more beautiful.
Yeah.
And if we were to privatize roads, which we should, then we could test that, because you'd have the boring road and the beautiful road.
Yeah. And the beautiful roads would be taken care of so much more.
True. Because
you could charge higher fees.
Yes.
The Golden Gate would probably be like $200 to cross.
You think?
But I don't know, just kidding. But if it were, you'd have to go around for like, can you imagine the taxes that San Francisco people, I wonder, that's interesting math.
Well, you think it'd be more expensive if we privatized roads?
I wonder. I have no idea.
Maybe in the beginning, but...
I don't know, because it is kind of a commuter bridge. People from Mill Valley, which is like a small I wonder. It can't be more than like.
You pay for
100
like a yearly membership. That's what it would be like.
Yeah.
And you just scan like your number plate would be on record, and you
Yeah.
just be let through.
But it'd also be I'm just trying to think about like the split of people who take that bridge who are commuters versus tourists, and I'm just kind of lost in the weeds there. And I don't really know.
I walked across it the other day, 2 days ago.
Well,
Yeah.
was it free?
It's free to walk across. Yeah, if they charge you to do that. I mean, they got blown off. So I got to the other end and I was like, oh, there'll be like a cafe or somewhere to sit down. I'm like, it's a fucking highway. There's nothing. I just had
Keep
to,
going.
I just had to turn around
Keep
and
going.
walk back.
Yeah. On my 28th birthday, 28th, I started on Land's End. Did you go over there?
Yeah.
If you go if you keep hugging the coast on the SF side.
Right.
That's Land's End. It's a really nice hiking path. But I started there and I ran across the bridge 14 miles about, and then I ran back. I was doing birthday challenge. So I was running my birthday miles.
Oh, okay, 28 miles.
Yeah.
You ran 28 miles.
On my 20th birthday.
You're fucked in the head.
Yeah.
You just chose to do
I quit at 29.
marathon. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I would have quit at 5.
But it was really fun. And I went all the way to past Tennessee Valley in the headlands, the Marin headlands. And then I ran back I miscalculated it. I think I ran too far. And then if I ran back, it would have been way too far. So I just ran downhill to Mill Valley, the city, and then Ubered back.
I tried to get an Uber when I walked across the Golden Gate, but because of the tolls, the charges, no Uber wanted to accept.
They got to work that out.
But yeah.
Have you taken a Waymo yet?
No, I'd like to.
We
before I
should
leave.
just park here in Waymo. It's so fun. Have you seen them?
Yeah,
They're so
they're amazing.
uncanny, dude.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
This is an interesting point, actually,
Yeah.
relating to wonderism, is that like I think boredom is a positive force for wonder, right? Because
One, having the abundance of time is like the shoulder that we're playing on from the giants of past generations who have given us the ability to have, disposable time.
Yeah, that's an aspect. It's slightly different. I think the point I was making is just like the Waymo is a good example. Like I'm a tourist here. I've never seen one before. I see it. Whoa!
Yeah.
Even coming here and seeing a Cybertruck. Whoa! Also, by the way, I saw a runner today in this park.
Yeah.
A Cybertruck went by and he like gave him the finger.
God. You're so fucking.
But then you have people who live here,
dude.
who see them every day, who ride in them semi-regularly. It's not a thing. And you have these memes of like, if you showed this to a pilgrim, the reason why that would blow their mind is because they've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
But if they lived in our time for any amount of time, then they'd see a plane in the sky and be as nonplussed as anyone.
Yeah.
And that's good, right? Because it means that we always have the impetus to create something better.
Yeah, we get. It's the other side of the coin to Louis C.K.'s joke of like everything's amazing but no one's happy.
Okay.
You know that joke?
No, but okay.
I'll butcher it right now.
Okay, brilliant.
He's on Jimmy Fallon or something. He's just like, I was in a plane, we got Wi-Fi, and the guy was like, oh wow, we just got Wi-Fi. Like it never happened before. Like I just got it. And then it was amazing. We were watching movies, and then it went down, and the guy's like, oh.
Right. Yeah.
Just like, it's like this thing that you didn't know existed 5 minutes ago.
Right.
That's amazing. That is serving you internet on a chair in the sky.
Yeah.
And it went down, and you're angry about it.
Yep.
the
I think that's valid though. Like it's almost like being like, you get up to heaven and it stinks of shit. I don't know. But like
the plumbing in heaven is fucking terrible. Oh my gosh. That's where rain comes from.
Whoa. Wordsworth. There's a similar one, this Rand quote, which is similarly about cities, which I think is pretty good. I'll read that to you.
Please.
Obviously, Ayn Rand is less of that like meta point of it being against a character. It's very much in line with her character. I think Ayn Rand is potentially the most wondrous writer because she's like so pro-human.
Yeah.
But like her prose style is reverent and florid enough to actually meet.
My favorite meme of late, or one of my like top 10 memes of late has been like, whenever someone points out something about like the socialists and like we thought Ayn Rand was being heavy-handed.
Right.
Like this is.
But she keeps getting proved right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is facepalm 100%, but it's true.
Yeah.
But she is so, her heroes. People think are corny. Sometimes, like, is that true?
Her characters.
Her heroes.
Her heroes? What do you mean?
Do people portray, like, think of them as corny?
Like her heroes as in people she admires?
No,
or?
her heroes that she writes.
Oh, I haven't read her fiction, so I can't. I've read the Romantic Manifesto.
Like John Galt's manifesto, like, gets like quoted a lot. Or
That's like the objectivist Bible, isn't it?
Yeah. Galt's Gulch.
Yeah, I need to read that.
But it's not something that's like I that's the biggest thing I took away from Rand was just like live your life with like you're the hero in the story and
the hero of your own life, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think what the socialists mistake from this is like it's a zero-sum view of the world. If the world is zero-sum, being selfish is taking something from someone else. But if the world is positive-sum, everyone being selfish is actually positive for everyone else. Yeah. Right? I think the best way to help other people is to help yourself.
Yeah. If it helps other people, it's a side effect of your own selfish pursuits.
True, and I think true altruism is impossible. Like if you want to help people, you want to help people.
Yeah.
It's like Ayn Rand has a good.
There's a line of thought in Silicon Valley of the best critiques on your product or the best motivations to building a product is solving a problem you have and being very selective of the problem sets that you have. Yeah,
definitely.
But Rand, what'd you bring from Rand?
Rand, so it's a similarly, it's about a city. In this case, it's about New York, and again, it's about like this overwhelming reverence for human achievement. So this is from the founding head. Quote: "I would give the greatest sunset in the world for one sight of New York's skyline, particularly when one sees the details. When one can't see the details, just the shapes and the thought that made them. The sky over New York and the will of man made visible. What other religion do we need?" And then she talks about people going into the jungle and these relics, ugly relics. She criticizes that. "Do they seek a sense of the sublime? Let them come to New York, stand on the shore of the Hudson, look and kneel. When I see the city from my window, no, I don't feel how small I am, but I feel that if a war came to threaten this, I would throw myself into space over the city and protect these buildings with my body." And I think that penultimate point is interesting, the fact that it doesn't make her feel small, because the largeness of the Empire State Building is reflective of the largeness of human achievement. So feeling small relative to mega structures actually makes you feel large.
Yeah.
Which is,
and also something that you were a part of and contributed to.
Yes.
Like,
even if you didn't build it yourself.
And that you die for it.
Yep.
I love that. I love that one, but two, like, there's I think it came from 300, which is a terrible movie.
I love 300. That's fun.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's not a great movie, but it's like I think it came from there. It's like you die for this. You die for it, but would you kill for it? Mm-hmm.
It's a very capital R romantic idea. They basically invented that idea of like dying for your beliefs.
Yeah.
Obviously it existed before, but they really like formalized it in a philosophy.
Yeah.
I think often it goes too far. This idea like death for your beliefs is preferable to life against them.
Do you want to lay down?
I'm fine.
I just want to lay down for a second.
You can lay down. That's
fine.
Wow.
Sorry.
And this idea that death is like romantic in a love way is I had this essay in my head called romance, capital R romance is unromantic, because you can't be in love when you're dead. So I think,
I love that you just hate me laying down.
no, you can lay down, it's fine.
Okay.
I was with Logan yesterday and he was putting his fucking scraggly, like Nike bullshit on like, he was in like a 5-star hotel and he put them on the table.
Dude, Logan, the level of do not give a fuck that Logan has for social etiquette is peak Philadelphia. One, he
True.
takes his culture wherever he goes. And I celebrate that for
He
him.
was like freaking out. He was like started stimming because they didn't have a store that would sold a rotisserie chicken. He's like, what the fuck? How do people live here?
Dude.
Right, do we need to leave?
What time is it?
20 to 6.
20 to 6?
Yeah.
That's a good
I don't really want to be late.
My leg's falling asleep.
I think we got some good stuff.
40 minutes. That's good. Tom, where can they find you?
It's been a pleasure. You can find me in the daisy field.
And yeah, Tom lives in Golden Gate Park now.
No. I'm on Twitter /X at TomHyde_. I also have a Substack, tomhyde.substack.com. It's called Tom of Letters. I write there occasionally. And you can find me on the Grapevine. You can find me in the ether.
Watch his Wonderism talk. I edited it.
Edited it.
edited
Tom
it.
of Letters on YouTube. Type in Wonderism.
Yeah.
You'll find my talk.
It's a great talk.
It's a good talk.
Great talk.
Thank you.
Great talk. And yeah, that's Tom. This is me signing out. Thank you.
I love you. Bye.